Hello, welcome to another pool sound stream. I'm making the questionable choice to stream tonight even though I am very tired, but I have some stuff I want to work on. So let's write a MIDI drum machine. And what do I mean by that? Well, okay, maybe let me first talk about what I did yesterday for those who weren't here. So basically I've been working on this software called autocrap, which is a user space driver for this Innovation Nocturne MIDI controller. And it's working quite well now. There's still a few things that I want to do. Like it needs some command line options to specify the configuration file and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not gonna work on that tonight, because tonight I instead wanna give an example of how to actually use this now. So I have this idea of a drum machine implemented in Super Collider, and the Nocturne would basically just work as a controller for that, and basically the operation would be completely controller based, so I don't really even have to look at the computer. Ideally, just press buttons and twist knobs and stuff to make some drum patterns. Yeah, so that's the goal for tonight. I don't know how far I'm gonna get. Let me just start by drinking a bit of my tea before I forget about it, as often happens. That's good. Sencha Sakura. Okay. So I have like a vague idea of how I want this to work, and basically it's gonna be a 7-channel drum machine, or 7-track if you prefer. And well, why 7? That's because although there's 8 knobs, like of these normal knobs on this thing, the touch sensing on one of them is broken, so I do want to make use of the touch sensing to select channel and that kind of stuff, so I thought I'd use 7 channels and then maybe do something else with the 8th knob. I don't know yet. But okay. So what would be a good way to start with this? Well, maybe to dive right into Super Collider and make a new project. I'm just gonna give it a dry name like Nocturne Drums. Make a new Super Collider file for that. Okay. I will eventually wanna boot up the server and do some initialization code. Actually, let's start up Super Collider first, because that will be Okay, sorry, I seem to be having audio issues again. Should be back now. Yeah, I think this audio interface is probably dying or something, because it's been happening more recently. But let's try to live with it. So I don't know how much of what I just said actually came through. But yeah. So basically I'm starting this out with a new superglider file. I'm gonna need to boot the server and do some initialization code there. Thinking, so maybe I'll start by defining my drum patterns. And what does that mean? So I'm gonna have 7 tracks. Each track is gonna have 16 steps. And that's just to match the number of buttons here, because my idea is that each button is gonna toggle a step for the selected track. So tracks, and then we're gonna do something 7 times, and that something for now is just gonna be okay, so each track should have some kind of data structure that holds all its data. It should at least have the steps. Maybe I'll make this an environment or identity dictionary. So we're gonna have steps, and that's gonna be 16 falses, so each step is a boolean, false or true, and everything starts out empty. And then what else do we have? We're gonna have a sound, and that's gonna be an index into some sounds array that we're gonna define later. Right. Maybe this can actually go in here. Yeah, let's just run this so that we have the server running. And what about sounds? Okay, maybe I should go ahead and pick a few sounds, because my idea is that for each track I can use maybe the speed dial here to like select the sound for that track. And for now I just want to have this sample based, so let's pick some samples. First of all, I'm gonna open this in Finder, or at least try to. That doesn't seem to be working for some reason. Oh, there we go. Just a bit slow. So I'm gonna make a samples subfolder and just start dragging my samples into here. Okay, there's a nice kick. there's another, maybe a third one. Okay. 3 kicks, then maybe some snares, and actually I could order these. Or, okay, let's just order them this way, and we can have fancier structures maybe later. Snares. And one more snare. These are kind of varying in volume a bit, which I don't like, so let's see if I should maybe normalize these. Now here's actually also a bit of delay at the start, so get rid of that. Okay, that's kicks and snares. I think the normalization doesn't really help. Some of these are just a bit more compressed than others. And by a bit, I mean a lot, actually. Well, maybe it's fine. Then some closed hi-hat. That's always a good one. Big fan of that hat. Maybe that one as a third one. Let's go with some open hats. I'm not really thinking about whether these work well together at all, but... Okay, maybe some claps. And... no, maybe I should have put these together with the snares. Oh, hello, Nella. More. You mean more samples, or? Oh, cowbell. maybe I can add some cowbells after the claps. It's always a bit hard to find the claps in this app, but okay, maybe 2 claps is enough. That's a good cowbell. Let's do another one. Okay, that's interesting. Let's go with that one. What else do we have? Maybe some toms. I tend to prefer the more synthy toms. Oh, that's a good one. And this one too. Okay, that's enough toms. What else is there? Maybe some effects sounds. That's a fun one. That one. Okay, maybe I'm happy with 20 sounds for now. Then we gotta actually load them into Super Collider. How does this work again? Let me look at some of my code. This process now executing the path. Directory name, and then samples, I guess. Okay, now we have a bunch of buffers. Although, what kind of data structure is this now? Is it a dictionary? Yeah, it is. Okay. So I think at this point I just want this as a list. Yeah, so let's go with samples.keys.sort .collect k and then samples k, and that should give us everything in order, or not. Sort not understood. So what exactly is keys then? Is it a set? Yeah, okay. Alright, this should do it, so we'll just stick that after the loading code. Yeah. Alright, and then need something that actually iterates through the steps arrays. So, okay, let me start off before I even do any MIDI. Let's just say that I'm gonna set tracks 0 steps 0 to true, and then actually I just do this for all these 4. Then let's make something that loops through these. So I suppose a tdef should be fine. Call it sequencer. So this is gonna keep track of so it could keep track of one index, but actually I don't want that. I want every track to have its own index. And the reason for that is because I want to do polymeter. Let's call it step. And I'll need to do those again. We'll need to loop. And also play this on typeclock.default. After each step, we're gonna wait 1/16th note. And in here, I'm gonna loop through tracks. And then at the end of this loop, I want to set track index to track index +1 modulo modulo what? Each of these should actually also have a length, and that should be an integer less than or equal to the number of steps. So by default I'm just gonna make it 16. And here we want to do modulo track length. Okay. So then if track at index is true, so it just looks like this, then we are gonna index into, what was it, samples by track sound. And okay, for now I'm just gonna call play on that, but eventually we'll need to define a custom synth-def. Is that it? Let's try. Okay, non-boolean in test. doing? This needs to be tracks, index, steps, index, track, index, step. That looks very confusing, but trust me. And then that needs to be step instead of index. Okay, that plays something. I think it's playing every note. Let me post the step every time. Let's actually set a tempo for the clock. I don't know, 120 is a good one. Sorry about that. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Yeah, nice. I mean, sure, but it's not what I was going for. Okay, hold on. I think I have the wrong units here, so a 16th note is what I'm trying to do, but this is actually specified in beats. So I want to do, what is it, a fourth of a beat? That's not doing anything. Weird. There's some kind of error happening here. What? Oh, right. I can't do it this way. Because I'm referring to samples in here, but it's not defined at the point where I do that. So, like this instead. Okay, that's not better yet. Wait, what is the units of tempo clock? Hello, John Murphy. Excited to see where this is going. Yeah, me too. It's not going where I want so far, but oh yeah, it's beats per second, not beats per minute. So let's divide by 60 there. Okay, and now we have a 4 on the floor beat. Cool. And I think this is pretty much going to be the basic structure of the sequencer. And now I need to start defining my MIDI stuff. And before that, I actually need to go into my configuration here. Right, I think I want to use OSC for this actually. Just because I'm in an OSC kind of mood. So I'm gonna make a copy of my OSC file here. And I'm gonna make sure that my knobs are actually on mode raw. Wait, so that should be relative and mode should be raw. And then buttons I also want to have on raw, because I'm gonna be controlling all of this through Super Collider. And for like the touch controls, I don't think it really matters if I have momentary or raw. It should act the same either way, because they don't keep any state anyway. Okay. So then I'm just gonna go into my main file. And I need to change my file name to load here because it's hard-coded right now. Nocturne OSC raw. Then compile. Oh, and again I need to be in the top level directory of the repo. Okay, that's running. Then let me keep this open so I don't forget my parts. Maybe it can go here instead. So we have a bit more space for the code here. Okay. So let's make an OSC def. Or actually, before I do that, let me just define my port or ports. So the in port from the perspective of Super Collider is the out port from the perspective of autocrap. So that's 9901, and then the other way around, so that's 9902. Actually, I guess we can make this a net adder already. Right, and then I'm gonna make an OSC def for every knob. Or no, every button for now. Pardon the dumb question, but what is autocrap? Okay, that's not a dumb question at all. It's my software for... Basically, it's like a driver for this Innovation Nocturne. And it's named that way because this controller used to work with a software by Innovation called Automap, which is now abandonware and doesn't work on modern operating systems. So I made my own, and I'm calling it autocrap. So it's just what allows the controller to communicate with the computer over MIDI or OSC in this case. Gotcha. I saw your TikToks where you were doing that. What, running the driver, I mean. Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, I've been streaming that. Yesterday was part 3 of that work, and it's in pretty good shape already, and I'm hoping to release it this week. Okay, but I want to loop through tracks. I want track, and I want and I want to make an OSCDef for each one. I'm going to call it BT for button plus I as symbol, so we'll have BT0, BT1, and so on. Now I need to check what the argument list of OSCDef is. Key, function path, source ID, receive port. Okay. So path is gonna be knob, and then the index, and receive port is just gonna be our OSC in port. Okay, and this is gonna take a message, and we're gonna post the message for now. Not getting the data yet. I wonder what I did wrong. Do I have these backwards after all? No, it doesn't seem like it. Interesting. Oh. It's button, not knob, obviously. So this was probably correct. The port, I mean. Yeah, that's still not working. I'm looping through track, but it's actually tracks. Okay, now we're getting values. Great. So, now comes the part where... Wait, this doesn't make sense. I actually want to do this 16 times, because there's 16 buttons. Yep. And then I want to have a variable that keeps track of the current track. And it's going to start off at 0. So then what's going to happen in here is that okay, let's declare something called val, and that's going to be element 1 of message. And if val is not equal to 0. So I only want to handle presses, not releases, so that's why I'm doing this conditional. And if this is the case, then I index into tracks by the track variable. Then from there I get steps, and I set element I, which is the number of the button, to the opposite of whatever that was previously. So negation. Yeah, so now... Oh yeah, then I want to do one more thing, which is to actually update the LEDs. For that I think I want to write some kind of function. Let's call it... show steps, send steps, send step LEDs, something like that. So what that's gonna do is basically we're gonna take again from tracks, track, and steps. We're gonna loop through that. So this is gonna contain whether or not the step is on, and then the index. And then I wanna do OSC out, send message, button, format I, and if it's on, then 1, else it's 0. And whenever I change something, I just wanna send that data. And let's call that on its own. That didn't seem to work. Index not an integer. So I'm trying to index into steps, I believe, or sorry, tracks. By track, this should definitely be an integer. Oh, it's not, because I never evaluated this line. Oh. Okay, there we go. So now when I did that, we can see that these 4 steps lit up, and now, ideally, if I press something, okay, this is for sure not working correctly. Why am I getting all these unhandled OSC messages though? Okay, I think I need to take a look at the Rust code. So interpreter, and we have on-off logic, and it should be the handle OSC method for this. Okay, let's add some debug prints. And I don't think the issue can be any of these. Okay, I'm gonna rerun this. Alright, this is a bit tricky because now everything is basically printing these. So it works like this, but then at some point we're getting unhandled OSC message. We should definitely have this so there is definitely an on-off logic for each button, and it has the correct OSC address. I wonder if there is something weird going on with the state management now. Because there's not supposed to be really much of state management when they're in raw mode, but it is very much possible that I have a bug there. Okay, I think I'm beginning to see the issue. Oh. Once again, TikTok chat is not working. It's very annoying. Let me just restart that. So yeah, we had a question from Nanner. Not sure if they're still here, but I'm a beginner at everything but programming. How can I start making my computer scream too? Well, I would suggest learning SuperCollider. It's a very good language for getting into that kind of stuff. Let's hope this keeps working. So the issue is, I think, that in handle OSC I am calling self-update. Let's mark that. And in update, well, update returns a response always, and it might be an empty response if nothing has changed, and that would be fine. But the problem is that, okay, I'm gonna remove these prints because they are not the issue. The problem is that Okay, so this is our response. Control is gonna be an option. Control response, I believe. So if we get a none out of here, which could happen because the LED already has the state that we're trying to set, then this is going to be none. And then we're turning this into an option response. So then this whole thing becomes none, and if it returns none, then that's taken as a signal that the message wasn't handled, whereas it was actually handled, but it just didn't do anything. So that's a separate thing, and it should be handled separately. So the correct thing to do here, I guess, is gonna be what is it gonna be? Because like the intention here is, I think, to just return a response with only a control response. Okay, so I'm gonna get the control response, and then I'm gonna return a new response, and I think there's a method called response OSC. Or maybe I can even just say into here, and that should cast it or convert to a response. That seems like it should be better. And then I need to check the other handle OSCs as well. So, for example, yeah, here we have the same issue. So I'm just gonna do the same trick here. So return a sum and control response into. Let's see if that fixes things. Well, not immediately at least. Because I made a typo. Okay, so into didn't work here. The trait bound. Okay. That's a little weird. I'm not sure I understand this error. Oh, right. Okay, yeah, this won't work. So update Wait, no, it seems like this should work. I don't get it. So, control response. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, so this is an option control response. Let me just put some more music on. Right, so that's why this doesn't work, because this is an option. I think then that maybe the correct way to do this is... I'm just gonna go with this imperative thing for now. So we're just gonna set response control to control response. Actually, we could maybe just put this directly here, get rid of the variable, and return some response. Okay. And then the same here. Oh, maybe not. Oh, because I don't have a variable called new state, it's just... well, it's not equal to 1.0. Okay, now it's running again. Wait, this seems like it's backwards. Interesting. So... oh, that should be 0 and not 1. That's why... Okay. And apparently I'm not showing my code. Well. This is still behaving quite strangely. Is there still something wrong with my logic here? There is something really strange going on here, because sometimes I get just the press, sometimes I get the press and release, and there seems to be like a pattern to it even. But then either way it doesn't send the LEDs correctly. What is up with that? So weird that I can see the correct state changing here, and I can see that send step LEDs is being called, but somehow it doesn't make it to the controller, but then if I run send step LEDs again, then it works. I do still suspect that there's something weird going on with the state management here. Let's look at the handle control function. Right, okay, so in this case, I don't think we should be calling update when we're in the raw mode, because that would mean that we're updating the state on a physical button press, but that shouldn't happen. In raw mode, the state should only update... Well, arguably the state shouldn't update at all, but I kinda left it in there as an optimization so that if we've already turned the LED on and then we send another LED on message, then it doesn't send that. So that's why I do have state also for the raw mode, but oh, hello, Quinoa on TikTok, apparently. Yeah, TikTok integration is still not working, but Quinoa asks, how long has this taken you so far? That's a good question. I think the total time that I worked on this on stream has been something like maybe 15-16 hours. Then plus a few hours outside of stream work. So I don't know, let's say 20 hours approximately. And I could make better use of my hours if I did this while I'm less tired than I'm right now. This is definitely slowing me down, but that's just how it is. I am just gonna make another flag here called do update, and it will be usually true except in raw mode it will be false. So then, or is this actually the right way to design this? Let's see. Yeah, the way I've designed this is a little bit questionable because it shouldn't really be update, the name of this method, because we're not always updating and we're doing some other stuff in here besides updating, which is determining what kind of response to actually give. Okay, I'm gonna add a parameter here called skip unchanged. And this shortcut here will only be active if skip unchanged is... Wait. be true. Yeah. If skip unchanged is true and the value has not changed, then we do this. But otherwise we always return this response here. But does this still make sense? I think it does. So now in handle OSC, we in handle control, we shall not call this do update, but rather skip unchanged. And that's again gonna be true, except if we're in raw mode. Then we pass skip unchanged to update here. And we'll probably have to do something similar for the relative or the knob controls. Okay, and if we're handling OSC, then we always skip unchanged, and likewise for MIDI. Another look at handle MIDI, I think. That we need this kind of logic here as well, so that the MIDI doesn't go unhandled, so to speak. Oh, hello Kim. Nice 8-bit new game tunes. Huh. Yeah, it's this one is from last year, or well, the track that just played. From my EP called Happy Jams. So just remove that bit, and then I need to take a look at other handle MIDI. Yeah, we have one more with the same issue. Okay, maybe that'll work. Maybe not. Oh yeah, here we don't have this argument, although it is possible that we should. Okay. But it still does not work. What is up with this? Let's have a look at some debug prints. So so your new Mac Pro will be ready next week. I would like to see graphics card working, because, you know, new PIC bus issue you may have to fix. I guess you mean PCI bus? But I'm not sure what issue you're talking about. But I'm not sure when I'm gonna get all my components, so no promises on that. Okay, I think I need a bit more space for my code here. So this is the thread that actually sends control data to the controller. So let's add a little debug print there. But yeah, I'm curious what you mean by the new PCI bus issue. Okay, so indeed, in this case, it is not even trying to send control data out. Here I want to add just something to always print the incoming OSC. Don't care about the size and address really. Or sorry. Yeah, the network address. I do care about the OSC address, of course. Okay, this should help me see a bit better what's happening. Oh, okay, this print needs to go in here, of course. There's quite a bit of spam now because I'm sending all the LEDs every time. So maybe... just do something like this. And then here I can just give it I. Okay, that didn't work. I'm just trying to restrict the amount of stuff being sent from one press. Oh, it's not contains, it includes, yeah. Still seems to be sending quite a lot of stuff. In future I'm hoping someone make MIDI key capture software and easy pattern configuration. Not sure what that would involve exactly. Okay, that was supposed to be is nil and not nil. Okay. Is there a way to clear the compilation window? Okay, well I'm gonna press button 15 as a marker and now press button 0. So now it sent the control out and that's fine. Right, okay, so in this case we are still getting a response where everything is none. And that of course explains why nothing's being sent, but why is the response none? How is that even possible at this point? So it must be because update is returning a control response none. Which would happen if... Oh yeah, but here we're still dealing with skip unchanged. Okay, so I think the issue here is that even when we have skip unchanged set to false, this is still gonna update the state. Okay, this needs a different approach. So we want to have a flag that controls whether or not the state is actually updated. Which feels silly because the method is called update, but it should have a different name probably, but I don't know what that should be. Let's call it remember. The argument, that is. Things are getting heated up on your brain, huh? Yeah, I guess you could say that. Or it's more like there's not enough firewood to really heat things up tonight because I'm so tired. I don't know, weird metaphor. Anyway. So, if remember is true, then that's when we want to set self state. That metaphor, yeah. Hey, I'm not good at metaphors, I will admit that. Okay, and changed is something we only care about in here. And then we don't do this if we're not remembering. And then I guess we can remove this bit here. I'm not entirely confident that this is gonna be right still, but I think it's going in the right direction. And now here, instead of self state, No, self-state is exactly what we want to use here. Yes, that's correct. Have sips and orange juice, girl, you have got life to live. I mean, I don't have orange juice. I do have tea, which has now gone cold once again. But it's good. And as for a life, I don't know about that. I have some work tomorrow, but I don't need to wake up early for it, so I'm gonna sleep until noon or so. Yeah. This looks reasonable to me. Now, when we actually call it... Okay, yeah, here we're still calling it skip unchanged, but I'm gonna change that to remember. Oh, not remember, but remember. Okay. That seems reasonable to me. I feel like I say that a lot, and most of the time I'm wrong, but... that's life. Okay. Send step LEDs, and it still doesn't work. Wait, but now we didn't even get any OSC in. Why is that? Oh, it's because now we are sending... Okay, we're only getting 0 out of there, and yeah, I think I know why that is. So actually I do want to use new state here. So even if we're not remembering the new state, we still want to pass it forward as the response, so that it actually gets to Super Collider. Okay, now this is gonna work for sure. Yes, indeed. So now I'm able to toggle my buttons. Well, I say that and then it stops working. Oh, I guess it was just maybe a bit laggy. It might be because there's so much printing going on, and then... yeah, I don't know. But... I'm gonna remove this and see how this works. There is still something a little weird going on, because if I press this in rapid succession, it doesn't always take Okay, but... Something weird is still going on there. Yeah, I thought it's crossfader bar. Well, it lit up, LED light working. Yeah, I mean, it kinda works, but there is something weird happening, and I am not sure why that is. Maybe it is just related to all the printing. Because I had some issues with that before, that it was slowing stuff down when I had so much printing going on. Gonna remove a few of those for the time being. I should really have like a command line flag to turn on some verbose mode, but that is for another time. Okay, there's still a control out print. But it does seem more reliable now. It's interesting how that works. Okay, but what this means is that now I can probably start sequencing with this. Finally. So if I just put 4 steps in like this, and then I start the sequencer. So yeah, now we have a very basic sequencer for a single drum track. Maybe it's capacitive touches made tiny noise when you toggle on and off. I mean, these buttons don't have a capacitive touch, it's just the knobs and the crossfader, but I'm not using that right now, and it doesn't seem to be a hardware issue, it's really more code related. Okay. Then I'm gonna add another thing, which is changing the sample. So let's say I'll call it, what is it? Speed dial is what Novation calls it, but the address for that should be just speed dial, but I should check that. Yeah. So we're gonna receive on that. Okay, let's first of all check what kind of values we get from there. Alright, so basically, yeah, I noticed this before, but we get two values or two increments or decrements per like physical tick, which you can't see, but something you can feel when actually touching it. So when I move it just one tick to the, well, clockwise, I get these two. And that's a bit annoying because it means that if I want to just go ahead, or if I want to skip ahead like one sample, then I need to basically divide these by 2, I suppose. Okay, so I'm gonna make some kind of counter for that. Okay, so maybe the way this will work... Wait, no. I'm gonna add here sound fraction. And then in my OSC def, oh yeah, I should run that actually. So in my OSC def, I wanna increment the sound fraction. By the first, no, this, well, the 1th index of message, which is the increment number. And let's make that an integer. And so this will determine, oh yeah, I want to add to that and not just assign it. So now if okay, first of all, I wanna give a name to the current track because this is getting a bit unwieldy. So something like this. And then I wanna set I'm gonna add to track sound, what is it? If sound frac is 2, then I wanna add 1. So basically integer division by 2. I think that's div. Yep. Wait, what? Yeah, okay. Plus track sound frac divided by 2. And then I want to set sound frac to sound frac modulo to the remainder, basically. Now the question is, how does modulo work with negative numbers in SuperCollider? does not work like I would like it to. Is that the same for the percent modulo? Yeah. Wait, I'm doing this wrong. Okay, so it does look like it does what I want. Cool. So yeah, modulo 2. And actually, I'm gonna name this new sound. And then I just want to print some debug info in case new sound. Wait, that can't be here, it needs to be before I assign track sound. So if new sound is different from track sound, that is, if the sound changed as a result of this whole thing, then what? Track this. I guess I can just put new sound there. Okay, let's see what happens. It does seem to mostly work, so... yeah, that's nice. And, well... we will have to do another modulo here, which is... modulo the size of... samples. So now it wraps around at 20. Wait, is that right? Do we have 21 samples? Oh, apparently. I thought I put 20. Oh yeah, it's 0 index, so 21, sure. We could actually do something fun here, so whenever we change the sound, we could just play the new sound. And to do that, I'm just gonna take samples index new sound dot play. Okay, and now I'm noticing that some of these samples are mono and they only play in the left channel. So I need to fix that. And more generally, I need to stop using buffer.play for this because it is very bare bones. So let's say and make a synth def. Actually, I'm gonna do something fancy. So I'm gonna loop through samples. I'm gonna get the number of channels for each sample. I'm gonna turn that into a set, so there's no duplicates. And then I'm gonna loop through that. So now n is each number of channels that we have in our sample set. And with that, I can define a synth def for that channel number or channel count. So we're gonna play buff dot AR, and what are the arguments to this again? Num channels. Okay, yeah. We're gonna take an out. We're gonna take a buffer. So this is just n. This is gonna be buff. And I think we don't need the other stuff right now. Oh, except probably for buff rate scale to account for different sample rates. And then I'm gonna set the done action to done.free self and not even use an envelope here or anything. Amp can be by default, I don't know, 0.2. Right, and then we wanna fit that into the number of channels that we have for output, which is gonna be can we use splay for that maybe? Yeah, I guess so. So that'll make everything stereo. Let's give it a try. So I'm gonna do a sample 1, and then we need to find one that actually has just one channel. Number 12 is gonna be one. Buff is this. Yeah, that seems to work, and then let's do another one that has stereo. that seems fine. Okay, it's just a bit quieter now, so... But yeah, it sounds the same. Otherwise... Well, let me put 0.5 as the default amplitude, maybe that's better. Great. So... Then we need to replace our play calls with one of these things. Actually, I'm gonna wrap this in a function. Call it playBuff. Or maybe even play sample. And the argument is gonna be the sample index. So we're gonna get the buffer. We're gonna create a synth with the name sample underscore buff.num channels, a symbol, give it the buff, and I think that's it. So now I can just say play sample, like so. And then likewise here. Okay, let's try that. Right. So now we can select samples, and I think what I want now is a play and stop button. So I'm gonna make one more OSC def. So we're listening on speed dial button. And we're checking the first element of message. If it's not 0, then then I guess I need to query the state of the tdef sequencer. Does it have an is playing? Yeah, and it is actually playing, but there's nothing in the pattern, so that's why it wasn't making sound. So I'm just gonna call this R, and R for routine, because it could be a routine, not just tdef. So if R is playing, then R.stop. otherwise our dot play on tempo clock default. So now that should work as a toggle, and maybe I'll add some prints here to make sure we're getting the right thing. Okay. Yeah, so now I can toggle the playback state. And there is one more thing I want to do, which is to select the track that we're working on. Once I have that, I can actually start writing some patterns already. So I'll just put it here. And this will be actually for each track. Track I. And so this is going to use the touch controls. So knob touch, always a fun name. A symbol, message, and again, if value is not 0, then I am simply going to change the track variable to I and also send step LEDs. And then I guess I can write a little message just to indicate that we did something. What's wrong here? Val not defined. Oh yeah, it's message 1. So now when I touch the track knobs, it changes the track. And actually I'm gonna only do that if the track would actually change. So track is, or rather I is not equal to track. Okay. And now we should see that if I have track 0 selected, I put some steps on there, then I select track 1. Yeah. Then they disappear because I have a whole new pattern to work with. So let's actually try to write something with this. Let's go to the first track. It's quite loud. Is this really 0.5? Okay, there we go. Had the old version of the sequencer running still. So now, let's see. Yeah, nice. It's fun to play with, even though it's really basic at this point. Woo! Needs access to modulation next, I feel. Maybe, yeah. And also possibly longer patterns than 16 steps, but I'm not sure what the UI should be for those. Because, yeah, obviously I don't have any more buttons to work with, but there is the possibility of doing all sorts of like layers by, for example, holding touch on the crossfader or one of the knobs or stuff like that. Make it quarters instead of eighths. Yeah, maybe. I'll have to think about it. I do actually have some UI ideas written down in a document somewhere. I have to dig it up later and see what I was planning. And okay, actually, I want to do one more thing. And after that, it's probably gonna be good night from me, but remember how I said earlier that we have this length? Same place. Oh, that's the kind of stuff I'm thinking for my APC. Holding a step zooms in. So you mean like if you're holding a step, then some other buttons become like subdivisions of that step that you can work with, or something like that? Right, like you're in 8th, and you tap and hold instead of showing 1 plus 2 plus 4. It then shows 16th around the one you held. Oh. Yeah, that sounds like an interesting UI. But yeah, what I want to do... You hold 2, it shows 1 plus 2, 3 plus the 16th. I'm not entirely sure if I understand the notation there, but I think I have like a vague idea of what you mean. But yeah, the thing I want to do still tonight is be able to change the length, and I actually had an idea for that. So right away I'm gonna change okay, counting 1E plus E. So, right, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I'm wondering, was the idea that you hold it for some amount of time and then it changes, and it stays changed, like, or zoomed in even after you release, and then you can work with that whole grid? Or is it like a momentary thing where only while you're holding it you have some other steps to work with, and then once you release it, it goes back? Because, yeah, I don't know. Of course, there's many ways you could do it. Kinda automatically comes with length too, I think. So many UX layers. Frick. Yeah. Start with 8 bars, double tap gives a bar and 8th. Right, okay. Yeah, it sounds tricky to have all these things. Tap hold then gives you 64 re-triggers, but I am curious to see it. If and when you implement it. But length. So what I mean by length here is actually the length of the pattern, so the number of steps. I do need to do some refactoring, I think, but... Okay, so the first thing is knob touch. I'm gonna change this so that this thing happens only on release of the touch. And we don't need this condition anymore, I don't think. Or actually... We'll do this only in case it changed, but in any case we are gonna send step LEDs, and that's because while it's being pressed we are gonna send something else, which are not the steps. Now I'm gonna have to refactor, so let's just write send LEDs, and this will be a function that just takes a list of booleans and basically does this, I suppose. Don't need this check anymore. And then here, instead of this thing, we have just LEDs. So we can send any sequence of on-off values, and then send step LEDs becomes just send LEDs this. This goes away, and I guess I don't need the debug print. Then we're gonna have send length LEDs, and we don't need this argument anymore either. Send length LEDs. So how's that work? We are gonna do something times 16, and we are going to send the result of that with send LEDs, and I think we get an index here, so we should be able to do if I is less than or equal to what? To tracks index track index length, right? So now, if I do send length LEDs here, actually thinking about this again, it makes sense to do the track change here, because that means we're gonna get the length of the knob that we are touching, or like the pattern corresponding, the track corresponding to the knob that we're touching. Okay, so now if I hold, for example, this one, there's something weird that happens, because something is immediately sending send step LEDs. What is up with that? Okay, I think the touch sensors are just not working super reliably right now. If I press it with the very tip of my finger, then it seems to work fine. But otherwise... Oh, this is interesting. Okay, well, just gotta keep that in mind. Fingertip. And now I still want to change this up a little bit, because I want to have a variable that tracks the mode of the button LEDs. And it starts off as steps. And then I want to have send mode LEDs. Oh, I need to show my code again. Oh. So if buttons mode, wait, we have a switch statement as well. switch buttons mode, and if that is steps, then send step LEDs, and if it's length, then send length LEDs. Okay. And okay, I'm not gonna touch this yet because we'll need to make some changes there in a moment. But now this whole thing can be extracted, so we just have send mode LEDs. Oh, and I forgot to set the mode. Honestly, this is nearing the kind of code where I should really start using a modality, which is a library for defining modal controllers. I mean, it's fun to do this in vanilla Superglider, also just as an educational exercise. Okay. So now we can see the length being shown every time I touch the track, but there's no way to change the length yet. So for that, we need to switch on so we don't need the variable here. But yeah, here we also need to switch on buttons mode, and then the first one will be again steps, in which case we do what we did before. And at the end there will be send mode LEDs. However, if we are not in steps mode, then we do something different, which is... Okay, so now we have I as a number from 0 to 15, but we want length to be from 1 to 16, so we just add 1, and okay, I can do another variable which is gonna be track. Yeah, so tracks length we now set to I+1. And I'm gonna need to fix whatever typo I made. Oh, there. Okay. So at this time, if I hold this and I now press any of the buttons, we can see that it updates. And yeah, the touch sensing is a bit unreliable, unfortunately. It's almost like the lighter and smaller the touch, the more reliable it is. So that's kind of interesting. But now, since we already implemented the sequencer with support for length, I think this should just work. So let's try it out. Oh, I still have some steps somewhere. Okay. I'm gonna change the tempo a little. The snares I picked aren't that great, but whatever. So now we can try the length. Let's bring in, I don't know, this special cowbell. So I'm gonna set the length of this track to 3 and then just add 1 cowbell. Okay, maybe that's a bit too short. So now we have polymeter. So yeah, that's a nice bit of variation with polymeter. I feel like the timing is not quite right, and I think that is because in play sample I should be doing, what is it called? Make bundle, maybe? Or bind, actually, is the one I was thinking about. just wrap this in S-bind. And I think that fixes our timing issue. Yeah, that's the drum machine. Or at least the very first version. I'm quite happy with this. Like, not in the long term, I want to do more with it, but for tonight I think this is fine. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. There's so many interesting things that one could do with a drum machine, but given the limited amount of controls here, I have some design constraints, which is also a good thing. It's cool, nice start of a drum machine. Thank you. Yeah, I think so too. One thing that I haven't used yet is like actually rotating the encoders. So that doesn't do anything yet, and of course there's a lot of things that could be done with that. And then there's this one encoder that's just not used at all right now. But yeah, I will think about some things to do with those. And of course, the nice thing about implementing all this logic on the computer side is that you always have the option of using multiple controllers and having them work together as a single mega controller. So that's also something I might explore. But yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. I'm gonna show this off also in the Algorave Helsinki meetup on Friday, because I'll be presenting my work on autocrap in general, and then it's nice to have some examples of actually making music with it. So now I have this, and I have the Kabelsalat Goa trance track. So yeah, fun. But yeah, that's it. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I apologize for the technical difficulties with the TikTok chat and everything. The audio interface, which randomly dies every now and then. But we push through and make music and music technology and whatever. Yeah. Like, follow, subscribe, push all the buttons. I will see you on a future stream. Good night.